Hi guys, we're here at the SEMA Show 2019, and I want to introduce you to one of the craziest people I've ever met in Las Vegas. I've known this guy for over 5 years. When I was doing my Discovery little channel stuff, and I first got in the know, they said there's one guy that you need to meet, and he's a legend, and his name is Sam Hart. I bumped into this guy at the Chemical Guys display, and instantly we were like new best friends. This guy right here, I don't know the words to explain to you, but how I described you online, I said, he's kind of like Richard Rollins and Mrs. Doubtfire had a love child, and you got Sam Hart. And you even told Richard Rollins that I described you like that.
I was with Richard a couple of days on the Hot Wheels booth. I'm like my good buddy, actually my legendary friend from Atlanta, actually Greenville, South Carolina. I meet this badass and I'm like, hey Richard, some guy actually described me the other day as if Mrs. Doubtfire and you had a love child, it would be all of this. And he was like trying not to cry in laughter. And he was like, well, I can kind of see where they got that idea from, but you know what, when you bump into someone like this, you don't just bump into him. He radiates presence, he has an aroma about him and a voice which just screams, come and get me, you know?
Well, Sam, you're the same way though. That's the thing. Like, you don't just bump into you stick around, kind of like herpes. You know, it don't go away.
That's it. You know, you can shave that off, but, you know, there's no way of proving your wife you weren't there, right?
Exactly. You know what? We're in Sin City. What happens here? Well, it goes home with you sometimes. But anyway, I met this guy. So now over 5 years, every time I come to Vegas, this is the first man I talk to whenever I come here. He's always got a badass ride, whether it was the Rat Rod Rolls Royce that literally set this show on its ear a couple years back. And this guy took a Rolls Royce.
Well, basically, me and my buddy Michael Lightborn from El Paso and the guy from Jesse Gonzalez from Juarez in Mexico, we teamed up and we cut up a 1936 Rolls Royce, cut it, chopped it, did everything with it.
With a big block Chevrolet.
Put an LS6 in it, Hillborn fuel injection, and the guys in Juarez went above and beyond with that build, and I was lucky enough to source parts and be a bit of a liaison and help out with the SEMA crunch. But you know what? That thing was out of this world, man.
It was epic. This car was a polished aluminum car.
Yeah, well, we ended the rat rod build off, right? But as a Brit, some stuff doesn't rust, okay? So when you're playing with aluminum, you take all the paint off, you ain't left with rust, you're left with aluminum. So let's polish it, you know?
He made it into a mirror.
Yeah, Steve Darnell turns around and goes, hey, you know the rule book of like rat rods? You threw that out the window, right? I was like, well, yeah. And then while we were here, we found out that Lord Tredegar from Wales owned it. He was friends with Hitler, the Queen, and we're cutting around in like some car that probably nearly could have taken over the world, right?
And we made it into a rat rod.
Yeah, we did, man.
That was cool, but I want to tell you something. I think this is cooler. Everybody, every car guy loves the Fast and Furious. The car behind us, the hero car, Dominic Toretto's 1970 Dodge Charger. Now this is not just any Dodge Charger. They had several they built for the movie.
Yeah, so basically when I purchased the car, I didn't know that this had any documentation at all proving what it was. And after a little while, I was lucky enough to obtain a document, like a title. In England, we call it a logbook or a V5. And it turned out at the top of the page, matching the VIN number, it said Universal City Studios. I had an invoice from Universal City Studios to Visual Effects, Dennis McCarthy's shop, who builds the cars. And then it went to England for a show called Fast and Furious Live, where they spent $150,000 making this car do a wheelie. I mean,
and making it electric.
Yeah, it was Tesla powered, yeah.
Tesla powered electric charger. So it went from a gas car to an electric car.
Yep.
And then Sam gets it and takes it back to a gas car.
You know what?
Or should I say NASCAR?
NASCharger, man, NASCharger.
So you get the car.
I get the car, and I'm like, this is badass. I'm the man. My wife looks at me and she's like, you're a jackass. I'm like, well, I know that. Can we prevail on to the next part of the story? She's like, yeah, well, when you bought this car, what were you expecting to do with it? I was like, well, I was going to go and buy myself a little white vest, skin cap, sit in there and pretend I'm Vin Diesel, you know, paint on a little cross necklace and be the man. She's like,
you got to get you some bigger shirts and bigger arms.
That's it, a bit of both. Get extra small and I'll look buff, you know? And she's like, cool, well, you got the badass car you've always dreamed of, but you can't do anything with it. I was like, yeah, I know. Oh, well. Then I go on eBay, like you tell me not to do, Mr. eBay Outlaw. I go on eBay and there's a NASCAR, a 2006 Carl Edwards Outflack NASCAR. I'm looking at it, it's like, there's another car that I don't need, which I want. So I bought it, and she said, congratulations. You now have 2 cars you can't use on the street. So I gas axe out $150,000 worth of, amazing technology that was so advanced. And I put the NASCAR inside it.
So you took that stock car and you had to cut and lengthen it because the wheelbases are not even close.
That's it. Yeah, when you were in the UK, you could see the modifications we made. I mean, we extended the chassis 7.5 inches.
I got to see the rolling chassis when it came in from paint.
Yeah, it's just like, people don't understand that this car may look like a badass hot rod or a badass movie car. This car pulls just as good as it looks. And the priorities here are, proving that this car is a car guy's car, a drivable car, a SEMA build car,
But it's one you can use. And you can see, like, it's a show car on this side, and you left the dirt because you drove this thing how many hundred miles?
1,560 miles without road testing it in England.
How many miles was it driven in England?
250 yards to the alignment shop and 250 yards back from the alignment shop once.
So we didn't even drive it a whole half mile.
No.
A quarter of a mile, and then he drives it 1,560. From Lincoln, Nebraska to here in Vegas.
So the first day I'm putting the lights in it, I'm putting the turn signals in, and I forgot about that, And it arrives here, I'm wiring it up.
Hell, nobody uses them here anyway.
That where we're going, no one's going to see our brake lights, we're gone. And I'm wiring it all in, I'm busting my ass to get this done overnight. It's 70 degrees the day before. Starts getting a bit colder. 6 a.m. comes, we roll that roller shutter open at Troy Gubbs's place, Stove Creek Auto Sales. He helps me work on my car for the night. We pull that roller shutter back, and as we pull the roller shutter back, there's 4 inches of snow. It's minus 13 degrees Celsius.
And I take it this thing don't have a drop of heat.
No heater. The badass guy, Scott from Dynamat, he's like, well, I developed this material called Dynadeck, yeah? And he said when him and Jay Leno were out in a car once, it got so hot from the exhaust coming through the floor, they designed this flooring to keep the heat out. The problem I have is I would love some of that heat to come inside. It's like minus 13 degrees Celsius. I practically had a mangina. Like everything was inside, it was hiding away.
You know what, you took a Midol and put in a fresh man pond and you were ready to go
Hell
again.
Yeah. You know what, SEMA should be about one thing. We've discussed this before, right? SEMA has always been about showcasing product and how good and how far you can move with the technology, right?
Exactly.
And everyone trailers these pieces of awesomeness here, and what does that show off about its integrity, its product design, and its quality?
Exactly. You put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. I'm the only man.
And I've seen where your mouth has been sometimes, and that's a rough place.
Sorry about that. But you know what? When you are the only man in the world that has silenced a NASCAR exhaust, you're the only man in the world to put an audio system from someone like Arc Audio in a NASCAR. I'm just here to break the mold. I'm here to annoy people and make them smile at the same time,
Sam, you're the kind of guy, though, with that accent and the way you speak and the way you present yourself, you could tell someone to go to hell and they'd say thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, you asshole. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. A
You know
true
what?
friend stabs you in the front.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see him coming at you,
Exactly.
The problem you have with Rob Pitts, right? When you take this beautiful legend to a lovely place called London in England, and we're out having a few lemonades, I'm trying to explain to him, do me a favor, buddy, just zip it for a little while, let's get a few beers in us before you get like everyone on us. He's like, yeah, no worries, we'll do that. So it's like 20 minutes in, he can't help himself. I'm buying a round. I'm from South Carolina, right? Everyone in the bar is like,
He's not from around here.
he's from America, that chap. Oh, hello, hello. And the whole bar just erupts with the essence of you, man. And, people are like overwhelmed with the fact there's an American guy in a British pub just enjoying us. And for you to like visit our small little towns is amazing because it's the same as me coming to Atlanta or chilling out with Ed Bolian, hanging out with him or going to Dallas, There are areas in which do scream tourist. I can tell you Greenville, South Carolina does not scream anything. It mumbles, what the hell are you doing here, right?
You ain't from around here, boy. But this is the thing I love about it, though. How far are we from the UK? What?
I don't have the foggiest.
A lot.
There's a big piece of moisture in the way.
There's a big body of water between us. But this is the thing about it. Hot rodding is just as alive there as it is right here in Sin City and everywhere in between. And I'm going to tell you something. Out of the 150,000 people that are walking around here right now as we speak, this guy right here is my favorite. This is my buddy. I am proud to know that I know this guy. I am proud to say that because this guy is what hot rodding is all about. Hands down, great storyteller, great guy, hell of a car builder. Slacks a little bit on his detail skills, but the rest of it, he's okay.
The issue you have with SEMA, okay, is everybody assumes that people can just rock up here and stroll around and check it out, right? You gotta earn that to be here. You need to go and be a qualified mechanic, paint shop guy, TV personality, body shop, whatever you do, you need to earn those qualifications for you to even be allowed in the door. And for you to bring a car here, that's another level, man. And
that's next level.
Exactly. And this guy here, he says, I'm a good guy or I'm badass, right? But when you meet someone like this, it gives you so much drive and push to try and be a better person and try and believe in what you're doing. Because one thing you told me once were like, hey, you know what, Sam? The only people that fail in life are the people that give up. Stop being a jackass, pull your finger out your ass and move on and get it done.
Exactly. This is the thing about it. You know, you got to be like a rubber ball. I tell this to people all the time. You got to be like a rubber ball. The harder you hit the ground, the faster you bounce back up. And you know what? There's a lot of truth to that saying. We've all had ups and downs, even in this industry. And I'm going to tell you something. Right now, we're on a hellacious up. And you know what? I don't see this ball dropping anytime soon.
You are right, but there is one issue. I mean, let's everyone just revert to the demographic of TV shows right now in the world. I'm talking like Discovery Channel. You've got a demographic of 45 plus, okay? So you got Richard Rawlins, you got Gene Winfield, Stacey David, all these badass people that I completely respect. But there's no one out there at the moment of like kind of our age range that are throwing out new stuff to get the next like age range involved.
Exactly.
I mean, muscle car parts are depleting. People aren't buying them as much as they are. People aren't building stupid cars anymore. And all you see is a generation of people which have been here for 20 years. We need to shake things up. We need to change the game.
This is the thing. We're building this hobby for the next 100 years.
Hell yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're laying the groundwork. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Sam. I can sit here and with you all day long, but I got filming to do. I got people to see, and I know you got people to see. You're one of the most important guys at SEMA this year.
You know what, man? I think we should go and have a few lemonades, reflect on tomorrow, and just maybe not film tomorrow.
Maybe not film. I'm with you. We may can't remember what we did.
Well, the issue you have when me and him get together, it gets to around 11:15. And then for some reason, both our minds just go blank about the night before. And
okay, Sam, we can't be spilling out all the secrets.
I was going to tell him about the time that you
know how many people actually watch this. Guys, thank you for watching Rabbit's Used Cars. We'll catch you next time right here from SEMA.